Hello and welcome to this video tutorial in getting started with Angular 2.0. Angular 2.0 is still in beta version, but still we'll try to work on it, and we'll create a simple hello world program that will help you go over the features of Angular 2.0. You don't need to know Angular 1 to get started with this tutorial, and it does require a little bit of TypeScript knowledge, but you don't need to know that too. We will explain you the TypeScript details as well in this video tutorial. Now we are going to use brackets editor for the tutorial series. It's not necessary that you use brackets too. There are other editors available like Sublime Text, Notepad++. So you're free to use whichever tutorial you want and whichever editor you want to use. Another important thing is you will have to install the Node Package Manager. Now Node Package Manager is available for free download, so you can download it and install it. Without this you will not be able to follow the video tutorial series. So first thing, you'll need a text editor and you will need the Node Package Manager. Now what you're gonna do is create a folder inside your C drive. So I'm gonna create a folder Angular 2 hello world. I'm gonna just change my directory to that. Now what I'm gonna do is open that folder inside brackets. So I'm going to open. Now first and foremost thing what we'll need is package.json file. Now package.json file will help us download all the libraries that we need. So let's create a new file called package.json, and let's include all the libraries we need in package.json. Now this code is also available on my GitHub account on this link below, so you can get the package.json file and entire code from that location. We will go over the details of this file later on. I just don't want to confuse you guys right now. So this is how our package.json file looks like, and I'll just save it, and then I'll go back to command prompt and then run npm install. Now keep in mind you already have to install npm, the Node Package Manager. Without that you will not be able to proceed further. So I'm going to type npm install and click enter, and then wait for it to download all the libraries, and just ignore any errors you get, like unless it's a major, but like this something failed, and that's fine. Now we have all the installation done. The package.json has done its library download process. Now let's create another file called tsconfig.json. Right in the root of the directory we'll create a new file called tsconfig. Now tsconfig is all TypeScript configuration. It's also written in JSON format, and again you can download this file from my GitHub account, and we'll go and explain you the details of this file later on at the end of this video tutorial. So we have the TypeScript configuration file ready. Now this is how our project structure is looking so far. We have our package.json, we have our tsconfig.json, and the node module contains all the libraries that were downloaded. We have our Angular 2 and all other libraries that are required for this project, for this hello world program. So we have all what we need. Now let's get started creating our project. So we'll create a index.html file. This file will contain the program or the hello world starting point. We'll write the code over here. Now we have our index.html created. Now let's start writing our hello world program. First of all, we'll include the libraries where we need inside the head section of the of our HTML, of our index HTML. And these are the libraries that we need for our program. The first of all, we need Angular 2 polyfill.js. Now this script contains third-party libraries that patch the browser's API, so it must be loaded as the first code of your application. Next, what we have is system.js. Now it's a very important library, and it dynamically loads the application code into the browser, so it's a really important library. Then we have rx.js. It implements the observable pattern, and various Angular APIs rely on it and expose observable values, so we need that. And lastly, we have the Angular 2.dev.js. It contains several libraries including Angular Core and Angular Browser, and we're going to use those libraries in other files we are going to use. And then we have the system.js configuration over here. So this is the header section. For now, even if you don't understand, just type it in and we will go over it one more time once we run the program. And then we have the body section. This is our custom tag, and it's called the component where everything will be loaded, so we need that. And then we'll write the code for this section, the components. And let's close the HTML. Let me see if I have the HTML at the beginning. No, I don't have. So this is how our index.html will look like. Now let's create the component file. So I'm gonna go to my project command prompt and I'm gonna make a directory called app. Now we have the app directory over here. We'll create a new file inside it and we will name it as app.component.ts. So it's going to be a TypeScript file and we're going to write the TypeScript code into it. So this is how the code is going to look like, and let's change the type to JavaScript for now. It should have a TypeScript plugin as well, but let's keep JavaScript for now. Now we are going to import component from the Angular core library, and now the at thing you see, it's an annotation. Now people familiar with Java know what annotations are. Basically it's a metadata of a class. So we have a class here called app component, and a component is an annotation for that class which gives us more information about the class. It's a metadata of that class. Now it's a simple hello world program, so we are not going to write much into that class, but that class will be used for saving data into variables, writing methods, and writing program logic, and everything would go into that app component class, but right now it's blank because it's a simple hello world program. Now the selector part of that component is called my app, which is exactly the tag we had defined in our index.html, and the template is basically what will be displayed the HTML in that my app tag. Now right now we have written it as an inline HTML, but we can also create a separate file. We'll look over it in the next series or the next other video tutorials. For now we are going to write it over here. And one more thing, the export thing over here will expose this class as a component, and then we can use this class from different another file and so on. So let's create one more file called boot.ts. Now this file actually helps in booting the application, and the code of this file will look like this. We'll change it to JavaScript. Now here we are importing the bootstrap module from the browser library, and we are importing our app component from the app.component.typescript file we had created. Now this method bootstrap app component tells the Angular runtime to bootstrap that component. Basically it starts from that component, so it will bootstrap this component that we are looking at, and that's why we have created a the boot file that will tell Angular runtime where to start from. Okay, so now is the time to run our hello world program. So what I'm going to do is type npm start, and it's building our program. And now we will open our browser and go to localhost port 3000, and it should have opened up the hello world or my first Angular 2 app on localhost 3000 of your browser. Let's take a look at the package.json file. Now package.json file has all the libraries that we need for our program. Now this TSC is basically, it tells the program to compile it with TypeScript, and the other option, the TST with a W, it just tells that every time watch for a file change and then transpile it into JavaScript every time there is a file change. Then we have the lite-server, which is the lightweight server, which serves static content, and also it's used for our Angular routing and stuff like that. Then we have the devDependencies section, which basically tells the Angular runtime that we will use this devDependencies only during development and not in production. So this is what we have in package.json.